Well, good afternoon here from the Heartland. And not too far from me in the Heartland, I have a very special guest. I'm Karen Lombard. And again, I have here Vibeke Kiiskila. And Vibeke, you are such a tremendous asset to the body of Christ. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here again. Feel so honored.
Thank you for joining me today. And I know you are such a talented person, and I just want to celebrate that and have you share and all of that with the women and give them those valuable things that they can take out of this. So today, this portion, we want to talk about a Unity Dance Center. And Vibeke she's not only a devoted woman, a God's favorite girl. She is a wife, a mother of a young, beautiful boy. He is so gorgeous.
Thank
and
you.
She is an entrepreneur, a businesswoman. She helps so many others ignite their dreams. But Vibeke is also a dancer, and she has a professional background. And that took her into a whole new area of ministry. Apart from moving in the prophetics, and I know you were part of the prophetic prayer team at the hub and everything in Kansas City, but we also know that your gift in dancing has led you into a different area of ministry. Tell us a little bit more about that, Vibeke.
Yeah, so thank you for having me here again. And I feel so honored that you want to hear my story and what I'm doing. And I'm just going to share a little bit of the backstory because I was not Christian and I was dancing professionally, and I was dancing in Paris, and I had been dancing in TV in Norway. And then I found myself in Paris dancing among the professionals there, and it was just my dream from I was a little girl to go there. And I had just got a job on a TV station in Paris as well with French TV. And then the producer started to ask me out. And then I said, no, I don't really want to go out. I knew what he wanted because that's very normal in the industry. And I just did not want to do it. And then he called me first one time, second time, and the third time. And then finally, I just got the boldness to say, no, I don't want to go out with you. Which of course, it was in, that we were going to, sleep together. Like that's so there I was 19 years old. The next week I found myself with no job, and I was just heartbroken. I mean, the dream that I had from when I was a little girl and being there and moving there, it looks like the outside that I was living my dream, but on the inside, just the joy of the girl, just everything was killed inside of my heart, of all the industry, the pressure, the competition, the sex pressure. So I just went home to Norway, and I just didn't want to be there anymore. And I decided I'm never going to dance ever again. It's just like, I'm done. And then when I was 26 years old, I came to Christ, so I got saved. And the Lord started to speak to me about dancing. And I didn't understand at that time either that there are different calling gifts on people's life. So I just told him, oh God, thank you, but remember that I'm never going to dance ever again. Like, that's done. I'm done. And he's such a gentleman and such a kind, good father. So he never pushed me, but he just now and then would invite me to dance and do things. And he kind of pulled me into it again, because there was one pastor that asked me to set up kind of like not a whole musical, but a Christmas show for all the kids, and I would choreography. So I did that, and then the day of the performance, there was one of the older girls. She couldn't come. She canceled, and I had to jump in. So I'm like, oh God, like I just really felt he was fooling me in a loving and funny way.
Yeah.
And then So it took, but then one day in prayer, he was very more serious the way he talked to me, and he said my name very, not hard, but more with authority. And he's like, Vibeke, if you dance for me, and then he showed me a picture of women, children, and men. He said, like, all these people will be healed, all these people will be set free, they will be delivered, my presence will be upon them, and if only you would dance for me. And I mean, at that point, I just like ended up like with tears and snot and just everything on the floor. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to dance for you. And then that's when but I said, okay, if I'm going to start a dance school, the dance school is going to be very different from what I've experienced. It has to, it has to be healthy competition. It has to be going out from your heart. I want to inspire each person to be unique, and to each person that it's okay with the body they have, how they look, and how they dance. And that's what was kind of the foundation of the dance school. So after I said yes to God, He just opened up the world, and within 2 years, I had two physical location of the dance school, and the dance school were performing on 3 different TV stations in Norway, which is the full circle of where I stopped the dance was in Paris at the TV station, and then all the way back till it was actually 3 Christian TV stations that wanted my dance school on their TV to dance regularly. So I'm like, I mean, God is just amazing.
Incredible. And he waits for us to say yes. And I love
Yes,
what you say about he's a gentleman, because that he is, right? He doesn't force himself on us, and he kind of just gently lures us in until we finally get it and say yes.
yes, yes. So yeah, so I really love that, and then it became a passion for me to that the foundation of the dance school should be worship dance, like how whether people are called to do professional dancing or called to dance in the church or in a prayer room, but the heart of the worship should be to see people healed, delivered, and in freedom. And as I said in the other interview, I also dedicated 10% of my time to work with women that were in prostitution, to help them just have joy about dancing and just God's presence, and see them kind of receive a little bit more healing. I mean, they still lived in a place of that was their work, but that I could impact with some joy. And that's been my journey ever. And I started that school in 2010. And a lot of, especially women, come to me and said, yeah, I feel called to dance, but I never danced professionally. And I would tell them that it doesn't really matter, because it's the purpose for why you dance. Because if you dance to release God's presence and to see people healed and delivered and inspired, and to just go closer to Jesus, I think that is the number one thing as a dancer and an artist can do. And if they don't do that, I mean, because I see people that are professional and they don't have that in them, so
It's a
that is
performance.
it's a performance. And it's good if you feel called to the professional world. You need to have excellency in your training, of course, but if you bring God's presence through your heart, I mean, it's a whole other level of how people get impacted. So that is the foundation of the dance school, to have that heart of worship. And I teach that mostly online these days. Um, but I want to share one other story to those that feel called to dance, because one day we had a Israel conference, and it was live on TV, and I was dancing there, and then I became so tired because like the camera would just follow me all the time, and it was only me. So I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. So I just went to the corner, like outside the camera. I lifted my hand. I can see if you can see. I lifted my hand just like this to like worship, just like this.
Yeah.
And because my heart was still worshiping, my body was tired. And after the conference was done, in come this older woman to me. She's like, "You don't know what you've done with my life." And I'm like, "No, I don't." And she's like, "I saw you standing in that corner, and when you lifted your hand and did like this, my depression, I've been have depressed for years, and I got completely free when you did that movement." And I use that story to tell people it doesn't matter the level of technique if you have it or not. So it's the foundation of your heart. Like, why are you doing it? That is the most important thing, and that's where you will set other people free and deliver them with your worship dance.
That is powerful. Thank you for telling that. Yeah, because that is an act of not just obedience and faith and everything in there. Because when you dance, there's so much that comes together in that, to orchestrate or to be able to do what you do. But we literally activate things and change the atmosphere. And if we could only see spiritually what happens when we do that, and bring
Yeah,
in that anointing and break those chains, and
yeah,
set people free, not just yourself. Because I love what you say with your dance center is dance yourself to freedom.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, first we have like, I think it's a never-ending process of freedom in our own life or from our own things. But as we start to walk that journey, we can easily also impact and influence other people to do the same.
Yeah,
Because if I come in and we have a dinner, Karen, like if you are yourself, it will give me freedom to be myself.
yeah.
So that is my number one goal to in classes or everything I teach is to help them to be themselves. And then people receive freedom.
And I think of David, how David danced, right? And he
Yes,
was a leader, he was a king, he had much responsibility, much
yeah,
dragging on him. But through the dance, he was able to change those atmospheres, and especially for him to break free of all the things that were pulling on him, so
yes,
that he can operate more functional and fuller in other areas.
yes,
So it's tremendous. I know that you and your husband work from home, so you navigate a lot of things. And I love the fact that the family unity is in your business, it's in your ministry. And I love even with you and your husband and your son dancing as well. And even if it's a man without a dancing background, God just moves through them. And I love when I've seen you post some of the material. It's just beautiful.
yeah. And I think so. We actually train our little boy, he's 3.5, to do worship dance, to dance with flag and streams, and he love it. If you see me dance,
Yeah.
like he will come, "Oh, mommy, do you need a flag now? You can't dance without the flag." And so he's so cute, and I think is even for guys, they think like, oh, they're not maybe dancer, but I mean, when a guy dance and if he wore, it's a whole other authority.
Yeah. Oh,
That is
right.
really, really good because they are some powerful worshiper and powerful warrior. So that is very important too. And
The
I think it's
protector.
what?
The protector.
The protector, yeah. And I think it is important for arts and entertainment in this season to arise and shine because the arts and entertainment, I don't know if you heard that in the beginning of the 1900, there was a written plan set out, and you can find it on Google. And then there's 10 things that they wrote, and one was like take prayer out of the school, make abortion legal, make divorce easy access, make the homosexual more open, influence the media and take full control of it, and make the church agreeing with it. And one thing that also wrote was to debase art. And this started in the beginning of 1900. So the enemy has been working very strategically, because if you look today in 2020, all these things are happening. I mean, I can send you the picture that this
That'll be
woman wrote.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, because all these things are happening. So because artists within the church today, they feel misunderstood by the leaders, they're underpaid, and they feel sensitive because they don't know how to communicate, the purpose for it. And last year, at the end of last year, my thought is that now is the time for the arts and entertainment to arise to a whole new level, to take their place, because it is a reason why they strategically took the art to debase it and put it down. And now, if you see the church, they are scattered. The artists don't stand together. They compete with one another. There's no unity. They don't have a place within the church. So there's so many things that have happened that I think is time to kind of take back now. So that's another thing I'm very passionate about, for artists to take back their place, find a support team to run together with other people, to have relationship with them, and not think that we're going to run alone, but together. Because art does, it's such an expression of God's heart, the creativity. The first thing that God did was to create. An artist, they create and are creative all the time, and it's just completely gone.
Yeah, and if we think of the very one that was able to influence a third of the other angels, he was very powerful in the arts, and
Yes.
he managed to deceive them in that way. And I agree with you fully. I am passionate. I've been all my life as well, long before even carrying the knowledge of all these other things and the mountains and so forth, but in taking back, it's been very deep in my fiber of taking back, walking in authority and our dominion that God gave us, to take back these things that belong
Yeah.
to Him.
Yeah.
And the arts, the music is so powerful because it just vibrates and
Yeah.
it does things.
It's so good. It's so good.
Absolutely. So tell me, Vibeke, how can you help others? Because that is your heart as well, to help others start their dance schools.
Yes. So I have two missions in my dance school, and one is to take those that I feel called to dance, and I have like more like a beginner course, which is called the Dance Yourself into Freedom. And after that, I also help them to launch their dance school, their dance ministry, because I've done both. I've been doing it offline and online. So I kind of just help them to brand themselves, how to create their offers. Um, are they called to teach for kids, the youth, the adults? I mean, the different things that they're called to. And I just help them to kind of create like a business in a box for those that want to launch.
Wonderful. So again, we will make those contact details and information known in the comments below the video. And ladies, I thank you for joining us. And if there's anything that you have to ask Vibeke, you can certainly, while we're still here for the moment, or connect with her. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And just find yourself as well dancing to freedom and allowing that part of God just to move through you. Is there anything else that you wanted to leave us with?
Well, I want to just say thank you to you, Karen, for hosting this, and also that for anyone that are called to arts and entertainment, to like connect with other people. And if you feel called to worship dance, I would love to connect with them and help them in their journey and to establish them, because I believe in creating leaders that create leaders. So if we can multiply ourselves as artists, I mean, that will be a massive impact in the body of Christ.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking immediately of even Nebraska and a lot of states with small little towns. And that's kind of a roadmap that the Lord gave me too, for the evangelism and things, and to go to these little places. And that is one of the easiest things, to launch a dance movement or a program and get people involved, and then let the ministry flow as well to
Yes,
evangelize that way, right?
that's correct. Yes.
Tremendous. Well, thank you so much, Vibeke. And you're such a wonderful, you have so much treasure in you. Thank you for releasing that, and your heart towards the body of Christ. And I'm excited to see where all of this will lead to.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. God bless.
Bless you.